everyone. Our guest today, she's a former Pro Tour player. She's also a college graduate from Charleston Southern. AJ Walters, good to see you.
Thanks, Karis. Thanks for having me today. Good to see you through Zoom.
Oh, I know, always a pleasure. You're currently working from home, and I just saw you're also playing footy now.
I am, yes.
So how did that come about?
Oh, so my dad actually played AFL at the highest level when he was young, which in Adelaide's called SANFL.
Yep.
And so it's a bit in the genetics. Whole family's played. So, yep, jumped on the AFL bandwagon.
Nice. Is there any aspirations to do AFLW? Obviously, that's really emerging at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm turning 29 next year, which is scary when I say that out loud. But I think just in general, obviously, athletes are hanging around a bit longer in their later years. So I'm gonna try to give it a good go. 2K time trial could probably get a bit better. Kicking technique could probably need some improvement, but I'm certainly working on it.
Phew. I wanted to ask, I know they're two completely different sports, but is there anything that has crossed over from your tennis days into AFL?
Oh, it's so funny. A lot of it has. I think, preparation is probably the first thing that I think of when a lot of girls that haven't maybe played sport at a high level before come to play AFL. A lot of them will maybe start season a week before it actually starts.
Oh,
Where
wow.
where for me, my pre-season was about 9 months long. Probably the first thing is I was that loser out there kicking goals last October when season ended in September. So that's probably the first thing. I think as well, performance-wise, when you're actually, you switch on, you turn that, you click that button when you step on the field like we did, as I'm sure you did it actually probably better than I did playing tennis, that,
Right.
leaving things completely on the side. And when you step on the field or when you step on the tennis court, whatever is going on in your life, you leave that on the bench. So I think that's one thing that surprisingly I'm doing better playing footy than I was playing
Yeah.
tennis.
I think as well, working under pressure, like, you know what it's like under the pump, match point down or whatever. And have you ever had to kick the winning goal after the siren? That's what I always thought would be the
No,
hardest thing. Oh,
no, thankfully I haven't, but there's been situations I play in the midfield where I've actually had to get a hold of the opposition player as they're charging towards their forward line with about 20 seconds to go, which also footy is, under time constraints. Tennis never was. Like, as you know, we could stay out there for 5 hours to beat our opponent.
so annoying.
Unfortunately, in footy, you have 4 18-minute quarters.
That's
So,
good. That's good. You know when you're going to be done. You can make plans after. Not like tennis. But I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. But it's also like I have to do something right now. Like I can't call the physio. I can't have a toilet break. Like whatever I'm doing right now, it needs to happen. So I think that's actually been a real difference playing footy.
Yep.
Yeah,
And back with your tennis, speaking of your tennis, you went the college route.
I did.
So did you find that that was of benefit for you post playing? So after your tennis career, did that help you in any
Yeah,
way getting into your field of work?
yeah. It's a good question, Karis, because I do get asked it a lot these days from juniors that are thinking about going to college. What are they going to do? And for me, it was the right thing to do as an 18-year-old, that I probably needed more exposure at a decent level.
Yep.
And I think for me, school was really important to me as well. So going to college was for me kind of a no-brainer. I wanted to do a degree regardless. So going to a school where, I could, you know, play tennis, do a degree as well was, probably 100% the right thing to do. Later, obviously, leaving college, leaving the tour now 8 years later, it did set me up with, a lot more opportunities job wise because I had a degree. And that's usually the first checkbox that a lot of employers do look at. So
Yep.
that was important. Also, tennis is an individual sport, but having competed as a team at college also helped have that background of, hang on a second, like, you've actually performed in a team before and you've not managed a team, but you've been a team captain, which actually gives you a little bit more kind of in your resume that may help you get that job.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's just all those skills that they're looking for, which feel like people on the tour, they need to give themselves more credit. They've got all these skills that they can give to an employer.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was the thing, was that, looking back, college for some people isn't the right way to go. And, for me, is it was. I mean, I don't regret the decision. I think turning pro younger when you're 18, 19 is great if you're ready for that. I probably wasn't, though. A lot of people are. And I think that's the thing that you do need to weigh up for juniors that are looking to go, whether or not they're maturity wise ready to take that step and travel by themselves, 30 weeks of the year, or whether or not going to college will help them mature but have really good training for a couple of years and good exposure. Because some of those college players, like, they are better than what you'll see on tour. Not all of them, but a lot of them will be, and it will really test you, because you may actually have to play 7 matches, in a week. Whereas on tour, to have that time on court, as you know, is unless you're going to win the tournament, you're not going to get that time.
Yeah. Speaking of tour, we've both been out of it for quite some time. Is there anything you miss from your playing days?
I miss seeing you, mate.
Yeah.
I think, I was pretty lucky that, it's been great that I've stayed in contact with some of the girls that we all played with, yourself, a couple of girls in Melbourne as well, a few in Sydney. So I think I miss that, we, seeing you guys at tournaments, having that camaraderie, and also overseas. Honestly, though, I miss spending day in, day out on court. Like, it was our first love, and it was our full-time job. Like, to have that we were so lucky. And I think that's the thing I miss, is being like, no matter what hour of the day, I was a tennis player 24/7. And just being able to, spend all day training and working towards, something that you've loved for so long was, we were living, I was living the dream. I'm sure you probably thought the same. I don't miss the travel, but I do miss competing in all the different countries. So I think that was really cool. Just the places that we got to see. I mean, not that we were tourists by any means, but all of the, all the different facilities, all the different individuals we played against, I think was just something that, especially in this day and age, we were so lucky to travel and compete when we did.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, I'm going to look back and see it as a really cherished time of my life. I think we all do, because it feels like a long grind, but then you look back and you're like, oh, it wasn't even that long I did that for, and it's only like a blip in your life, in your, the space of how many years you'll live. So yeah, it's good times all around. And it's so good to see you today, AJ. Thank you so much as well for sharing what you've been doing since tour life. It's good to keep the tennis community together.
Our pleasure, Karis. It's so good to see what you're doing as well. I love listening to your podcast every single week. It's honestly...
I did not ask you to do this plug. Let's let everyone know.
Guys, you should listen week in, week out. I actually feel like I'm getting smarter by listening to these podcasts. So.
That's very kind. Good to see you, babe, and we'll catch you soon.
Yeah, let's catch up for a hit, hey?